Hi guys, it's day 12 of our Kickstart, and this week I'm talking about the elements of your lifestyle that have an impact on your results outside of just purely your food and your nutrition. So today I'm going to talk about, and in fact probably tomorrow as well, sleep, which is massively underrated, probably more powerful than the most other things outside of your nutrition, is probably more long term, has an impact on your results than actual exercise, certainly from a health point of view, and to a degree a weight loss point of view. Getting better sleep is probably more important than upping your exercise, for example. So, if you're doing like 2 or 3 workouts a week, but not sleeping well, then focus on your sleep is probably better than doing another couple of workouts for a week per week. So it's super important, and that's the key. Now, why it's so important is very much to do with the hormones, and a lot of the hormones that I've talked to you about so far. So the leptin that controls your hunger levels, the ghrelin which makes you hungry. It's a hormone that when it's too high, it makes you hungry. Now, in fact, for ghrelin, better sleep is about the only thing you can do to actually improve that. More protein has a small impact, but not as much as your sleep. Your insulin levels, your blood sugar levels are massively related to sleep. If you're not getting enough sleep, you will be what we call insulin resistant, which means you'll be producing more and more insulin, which is having less and less of an effect, and your blood sugars are going up and up and up and up. And as a result, you're tending to be storing more fat, and obviously your risk of metabolic kind of issues, cholesterol, blood pressure, etc., increases purely down to lack of sleep. And in fact, they used to call it adult onset diabetes, type 2 diabetes, adult onset diabetes, because it only affected us in later life as adults. And in fact, really is as 70, 80 years plus. Now it's occurring in teenagers. So it's no longer called adult onset diabetes, it's called type 2 diabetes. And the reason why it's in teens, it's not correlated. You might think it's correlated with the increase in sugar and soft drinks and stuff like that. It wasn't. When there was a sharp increase in sugar and soft drinks and stuff like that in our diet, there wasn't a massive upturn in type 2 diabetes. But when there was a significant change in lifestyle habits in terms of sleep patterns, and when there's a correlation with teenagers, especially getting less sleep because they're on the computers, etc., etc., that correlates quite starkly with an increase in rates of type 2 diabetes. So when you're not sleeping enough, your blood sugar control goes out the window. Okay. Not only does that mean you'll store fat more easily, it also means your willpower will be like through the floor, because when your blood sugar's out of control, as I talked to you about in week 1, your willpower is really low. So that's another reason why it's really important to make sure that you're getting enough sleep. Further to that, your growth hormone. So last week I talked to you about growth hormone levels. So growth hormone will help you to build muscle, recover, it will help you burn fat, and helps keep you young. And your growth hormone levels are adversely affected by not sleeping enough. Okay, so hopefully that's plenty of reasons, guys. So if you're sleeping more, you'll have more willpower, so you'll stick to the program easier, you'll get more workouts in, etc. So that's really important. More willpower, better blood sugar control, better appetite regulation, healthier aging, more muscle building. So many benefits, guys, of getting good sleep. So how much is enough? Well, really, the average is 8 hours, but who's the average? What you should be doing is going to bed at a suitable time, getting to sleep quite easily, and waking up naturally. You might set an alarm, but if you're getting enough sleep, you should be pretty much awake by the time the alarm goes off. When you've kind of already stirred and you're just kind of in a half wake, half sleep state before the alarm goes. If you're in that sort of mode, then you're probably just about getting enough. If you're actually woken up by the alarm, so say you go to bed at 11 o'clock and set the alarm for 6, but you're woken up by the alarm all the time, especially if you feel a bit groggy when that happens, that suggests you've been brought out of a very deep sleep. You weren't ready to wake up. In other words, you haven't had as much sleep as your brain and your body wanted. So that's really the only way to know, can you go to bed, get a certain amount of sleep, and wake up naturally feeling quite refreshed? Okay, so that's the goal. Ideally, it's about 8 hours, okay? But you've got to work with, you might be different. You might require a bit more. You might require a bit less. But if you are waking up, if you're having less than 8 hours, but you're having to rely on an alarm clock to wake up, you're not giving yourself enough time to sleep. So what you need to do is, I call it the reverse engineering process. Set yourself 8 hours. So work out, what time do I need to get up in the morning? 6 a.m. Okay, so I've got to be asleep by 10. And you've got to work on that and reverse engineer it. Now, that might not seem ideal, guys, but um, I've outlined the benefits, and it's really up to you to start getting more sleep. Okay, so tomorrow I'm going to share with you more tips in terms of how to get better sleep. But today I just wanted to let you know, like, how important it really is.